Guys, today I'm going to go over how to install an aftermarket multi-fit radiator in a set of BMW models. I'm only going to cover the most critical steps and most importantly, the difference when installing this radiator in various vehicle transmission versions. So this radiator is a premium quality aftermarket replacement from Nissens, and there's a couple reasons that make this such a great quality replacement. One of them being the excellent materials that they use to make the unit and the core features, such as these double folded fins that make the unit more durable and perform very well. So this equipment is a multi-fit part designed to fit multiple BMW models and versions, such as the E81, E82, E84, E87, E88, E89, E90, E91, E92, and E93 series. And here's the deal, if you want to fit this radiator properly across all the various vehicle models and all the transmission versions, you need to use specific plugs. Because this is a Nissens first fit product, you have all the necessary parts already included in the box, such as the plugs you're going to need to perform the replacement, as well as the instructions and explanation for how and why to perform the replacement. So which plugs should you use for your installation? You basically have two options. You can use one with a manual gear transmission or with an automatic gear transmission. You have to be very careful, as using the wrong plug could cause your coolant to leak or your automatic transmission to suffer from lack of cooling. Thankfully, the attached guide explains this clearly, but let me explain it a little clearer. So the differing lengths of the plugs are of critical meaning for the flow of coolant. In vehicles with an automatic transmission, you need the coolant flow to go to an aftercooler that controls the gearbox oil temperature. So in your automatic transmissions, it's going to flow from the tanks to the aftercooler and back through the system. But if you have a manual, you don't have this aftercooler. You won't have the flow. It'll stay contained in this system. And that's what the lengths of the plugs control. All right, so here we have a radiator as it comes packaged out of the box with the instructions oriented appropriately. As you can see with this image, we have it here, and with this image, we have it on this side. So we have the left side and right side of the radiator. As it comes packaged, you have a long plug on the left side and a short plug on the right side. The long plug, as we mentioned, goes with an automatic transmission that has an aftercooler. So that means that as it comes packaged, you will have to change the right side for a long plug to facilitate the flow of coolant from the radiator to the aftercooler. Now, if you have a manual transmission, you'll have to change the left side. As you can see in the instructions, always refer to the instructions. That way, the flow of coolant is restricted and contained within the radiator. Here I can show you as an example, you have the long plug, which helps the flow of the coolant to the aftercooler. But if you have the short one, it will block the flow and keep the coolant contained within the system without leaving these tanks. For the proper application of the plugs, you have to lubricate the O-rings with a neutral rubber-safe lubricant, in this case, technical Vaseline. While you apply the lubricant, you can check the O-rings for their condition, make sure there's no damage or burrs, and if there is, you can replace it with some of the replacements that are included in the box with the Nissens First Fit products. Once you've applied the lubrication and confirmed that your O-rings are in the adequate condition, you can apply it, which is facilitated through the use of lubricant, and make sure that you have a nice, snug, seated fit. The risks associated with improper plug usage cannot be overstated. If you use a short plug with your automatic transmission, you're blocking the flow of coolant from the transmission to the aftercooler, and you risk a critical failure due to overheating. And if you use a long plug with your manual transmission, then you risk leaking coolant out of the closed system. So for today's radiator replacement, we're going to use a 2010 E87 BMW with an N43 116i engine and a manual transmission. And that's why I've already pre-lubricated these two short plugs when I replace this radiator. Great, so now that I have the correct plugs installed and lubricated, we can go ahead and install the radiator. And now I'm going to remove excess air from the system by bleeding the To continue the bleeding process, we have to activate the electrical water pump so that the fluid is evenly distributed throughout the system. And in BMWs, this is how the process looks. Turn the car on, turn the heat as high as it'll go, bring the fan as low as it'll go, and hold the gas for 10 seconds. So now our replacement installation is complete and the car is ready for a test drive. Thanks for tuning in with me today. And if you need any technical insights, go to nissens.com/experts.